Legend of Zelda has always been relatively easy, that is until they added hero mode. But it is still too easy, so what better way than to challenge yourself by doing the unthinkable. Doing a no-hit run. Now, doing the entire game without getting hit would take ages. And as a 24-year-old, you just simply don't have that much time anymore. So today we are beating the Savage Labyrinth without getting hit. Approaching floor 1, it was simply infested with keys. Using the boomerang is simply more than enough to beat the goofy out of them. On floor 2, there are 6 mini-blins, and all they basically do is meh, 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 and annoy you. For floors 3 to 5, they are really just regular enemies. You just spin attack, stab through them, and give them eye surgery. On floor 6, this is when things start to get slightly interesting. They start combining enemies. This combining of enemies is simply just a little taste of what they have in store for us further down the labyrinth. Floor 7, floor 8 really are just a breeze, and they're not really worth noting. On floor 9, however, we start with our first big boys, the moblins. These guys try to give you a slap in the cheeks as soon as they stand up. Luckily, I used one of the moblins to attack the other moblin and combo wombo them. Floor 10 was a rest floor. Floor 11 introduces us to a new enemy, the P-Hats. These guys are not really a threat, just smack them with the yellow funny boomerang and kill them. Floor 12 is the green choo-choos, and on floor 13 are some man-eating plants called Boko Babas. These guys just make weird noises and they try to eat you, in which I recreated the perfect imitation. Floor 14 shows green bokoblins, but guess what? They have shields. Oh my goodness, they are evolving. I managed to kill them easily though. On the next floor, we have Motulas, but without wing. I decided that I would not be dealing with them using my sword since it was just a call for wanting to get hit. So I just used the bow. For floors 16 through 17, there was just repeats of enemies and combinations of them, in which I managed to breeze through them really easily. Now, this might seem like it is a little bit too easy, but trust me when I say this. The deeper we go, the more risk and dangers that we will face. On floor 18, there was those wingless bastards in the green bokoblins. I shot the wingless buggers and afterwards sealed the fate of the green bokoblins, followed up by a dance on their corpse. For the next floor, I just shot the flying buggers with a fire arrow and boom, 2 for 1. As soon as I reached the second checkpoint, I realized that we were starting to begin the real deal. Harder enemies were bound to appear and cause us trouble. With this in mind, I descended onto floor 21. We were met with a new environment, and from my 27 different attempts, I remember that this was the floor with the whiz robes. So I pulled out my arrow. I pulled out my bow and readied an arrow. On floor 22, we are met with statues with giant sold up cheeks. Floor 23 is literally the same type of one-eyed statues, except they are huge and they open their mouths while wanting big blue balls inside of them. I just waited for them to spin right around and frickin' die. On this floor, floor 24, these pods might seem like they hold bokoblins, but you're wrong. The yellow choo-choos. These boys could end your run if you are not careful. So I used the boomerang and then proceeded to commit genocide and proceed on to the next floor. Floor 25 is really easy, just flying skulls and shoot them with your arrows. However, for floor 26, this is when you get to see the dark nut for the first time. Usually you want to get rid of any extras in the scene and then focus on the dark nuts, but I decided that was for Wawa babies. I fought them all at the same time, slashing the bokoblins first and then focusing my attacks on the dark nut. Kept going back and forth until I finished with them all. Feeling like the true hero of courage, I couldn't wait to fight more of these. On floor 27, it seemed like only red cheek statues were here, but I knew something was not right. And to not my surprise, a wizard appeared and I just shot him to forever sleep. I stabbed the other 3 and danced while the last statue was having a seizure in the background. On floor 28, I shot both skulls with my arrows and fed the big statue some blue balls. Just the same way I did on floor 23. On floor 29, 2 dark nuts appeared. One was silver and the other one was golden. Fighting one dark nut was all about patience and timing. Fighting 2 dark nuts was the same thing, but different. You can just wait for the A prompt because sometimes it wouldn't work. So in order to beat multiple dark nuts, the easiest way, you need to target the one that is in closest to you. Wait for them to line up side by side and then jump attack, spin attack, and then back off. Doing this multiple times will make one of the dark nuts' armor fall off eventually. As soon as the armor of the dark nut has fallen off, you do the same steps until one is standing. Killing one of the dark nuts leaves you with a 1v1 and it's easy peasy from there. Now this strategy might be optimal, but it is very boring. Because of this, I will not be using it too much as there will be a fight deeper in the labyrinth that will involve many more of these guys. And with this, we made it to the second to last checkpoint of the Savage Labyrinth. From here on out, the floors will be incredibly scary and difficult. Descending onto floor 31, I was met with the scariest enemy in the entire game, the Redead. After killing the first V-Dead, I stayed inside the light and flashed the rest of them. With my shield, dude. What the f? On floor 32, new skull types, which are apparently called bubbles, were impervious to arrows, so I used the hookshot to snatch them and slash their head in half. On the next floor, we found the new choo-choo type, which were invincible to any attacks unless they were frozen with light and made a statue. Afterwards, I just smashed their heads in with my hammer. So this floor might seem like it's completely empty, but it's just pose, man, honestly. Just flash them, slash them, and abandon them. On floor 35, there appeared more flying disgusting buggers, and then they come with an extra friend. I made some distance and made my shot. As soon as I descended onto floor 36, a moblin saw me with his green glowing eyes and then started sprinting towards me. The Rita did talk to us, but luckily he was a little too far to snatch me. With this close call, I saw the A prompt and did an uppercut with a sword. After killing the moblin, I decided to look for the next one, and I saw him from a distance and I shot. After successfully failing to catch his attention, I decided to just kill the re-deads first. This will clear a path and give me a 1v1 against the moblin. And just like that, we head on to floor 12. On this floor, I just shot the flying bugger and smashed this choo-choo skull in. On floor 38, there were poes and moblins with lanterns. These could easily burn me, so I needed to be really careful. So I proceeded to flash the poes and kill them, and I did the same thing with the moblins except for the flashing. On floor 39, we encounter blue bubbles and stealthos. Eliminating the bubbles, I continued to throw bombs onto the skeleton dude in order to shatter him apart. Eliminated the first one, and a second one appeared from the ground. I did the same thing and it was no biggie. And just like that, we reached the final checkpoint. With just 10 floors left, I descended and was greeted by holy I started rolling away as a normal person would do in this situation, and as soon as the mini blains got close, I started spinning my sword. This was enough to kill the majority, but a few strays were left alive, and they were stabbed by me. This floor was empty. And when it's empty, it usually means wizrobes were ready to appear. But soon I realized that this was a different enemy. A bunch of choo-choos. I let them close in a little bit, stunned them with my hammer, and then prepared myself for epicness. I charged up my sword and I started spinning like crazy, like a hurricane tornado twister spinning. And I killed them all. For the next floor, in the middle of the room, there was a giant nail waiting to be smashed in. As soon as I did, multiple wizrobes appeared from nowhere. I readied my bow and shot at them without wasting any time. I had to be very careful as they would each summon and throw 3 fireballs, which were very easy to get hit by, but I managed. Now, it shouldn't surprise you that this floor had a horde of bokoblins waiting for you to appear. I simply lined them up, started spinning. With a bit of patience, I spun a few more times and this was enough to eliminate them all. On floor 45, re-deads and skeletons, man. I was not going to fight them head on as that was clearly a way to guarantee getting hit. So I threw a bunch of bombs and then proceeded to eliminate the stealthos. On floor 46, there were 3 moblins and 2 darknuts. I first eliminated the moblins with arrows and then proceeded to fight the darknuts using the same strategy I used back on floor 29. Yeah, I said I wasn't going to use this strategy again, but I promise you that this is the last time I did it. I proceeded to kill both darknuts and proceeded to floor 27. 47, man. They did not give me a breather and immediately summoned some wizrobes along with some darknuts. Luckily, I was able to eliminate the wizrobes quickly and then fought the darknuts. Used the A command, dodged an attack, and then eliminated one of them. I made a darknut go shirtless and I started slashing. We had an epic fight, dodging attacks, blocking attacks, and slashing at each other. When I took off his helmet, it left him stunned and he got embarrassed about his horrible haircut. With this, I took the window of opportunity to give him an even worse haircut and eliminate him. The summary of floor 28 is simply bombs. The stealthos were surrounded by a minefield of bomb flowers, so I decided to bomb them with my own. As soon as one of their heads was in a good spot to be sliced at, I took the chance. With the last 2 stealthos' heads so close to each other, I didn't hesitate to attack them with my full might. I accidentally triggered a bomb, but luckily it had a short fuse before it detonated. And with this, we reached the final floor. 4 mighty darknuts, surrounded by moblin busts on the walls that would spit fire if you came too close to them. This was truly our last trial. When I was doing the strategy of fighting against multiple darknuts, I realized that everyone wouldn't be as proud if they realized the way I defeated the 4 darknuts like a wawa baby. I was not going to be labeled as a hero of cowardice. And with this, I started fighting with all my might. I started it off with a front flip slash attack. I just came up with that name. While fighting, one of the darknuts backstabbed his friend. I saw a darknut attempt to get the jump on me, but I side hopped his pathetic excuse for an attack. The last standing darknut tried to do a spinning hook kick, but I just stabbed his torso without thinking twice, and that was enough to eliminate him. And with this, I finally managed to reach the bottom of the labyrinth without getting hit once. And here we are. Floor 50 of the Savage Labyrinth. Let me know what else you guys want to hear or do challenge by.